Captain Marvel. This is the worst Marvel movie I've ever seen in my life. But it's not as bad as people say, but it's still not good. Um, First of all, this movie is a very obvious feminist movie, which I know people are going to hate on me for even mentioning that, but I think it's important to talk about the way this movie was marketed. First of all, pushing this movie out and posting comments on social media like, look at how this character stands up to toxic masculinity. And then you watch this movie and it's just a poorly written superhero movie. And she's just a poorly written character, Captain Marvel herself. Now here's the thing. People really hate Brie Larson. I don't. I think she's a talented actress. She's good in stuff. She's not good as this character. And she should not be this character. And maybe she'll get better. That's happened in Marvel movies where I watch characters that I'm like, I'm not so keen on the performance, but over time you get more used to them being in the role, and it's fine. But this is she's just really bad in this movie. You have a character suffering from amnesia. It's a story told backwards through time. It's just not a very interesting story, and it's really dumb to have the story put in the back before back in the 90s, which is like fine, you want to do that, but there's really no reason it needed to be set in the 90s. It could have been set in modern day and it would have been fine, but whatever. And the movie just had to kind of, I don't know, I really hate how they explain Nick Fury's eye thing. The eye thing is ridiculous. Like, this cat scratched it. I mean, like, really, we have this, some people say it makes sense he would just lie about this kind of a Nick Fury character. Kind of, yeah, but wouldn't it have been better if he actually had a good backstory? Like, come on. This is ridiculous. This movie is just a boring movie with just a boring character. And it's because Brie Larson kind of had to give a wooden performance in it because she doesn't know what's going on. She's kind of a mysterious character throughout most of this movie. I get why her performance is wooden, but at the same time, you're watching it going, you like the other Marvel movies because the cast members have charisma, right? I don't think Thor is the best character, right? I don't think Hulk is the best character. But the charisma those actors give off makes them enjoyable to watch on screen. Makes me want to see those characters on screen. There's nothing that makes me want to see a character like Carol Danvers on screen. I don't think her story is interesting. And her pairing her up with Nick Fury kind of helps a little bit, but it doesn't at the same time. And it's just a boring movie. I don't like the fact that they use this movie to push a feminist angle, because this is just a boring, bland movie. Why in the world did you need to do that with this movie? It's just a boring, unspecial movie. And I think that's just all it is. You didn't need to push a feminist angle with this movie. And people overly criticized it because it was doing that. And sure, they probably should be. But at the same time, this movie's just not... It's just a boring, bland Marvel movie. That's all it is. It's not a good movie. It's not a terrible movie like some people make it out to be. It's just boring. I mean, the very obvious feminist pushes in here are ridiculous. Like how they play a song literally titled "I'm Just a Girl" in the middle of one of the action scenes. It did not fit in one of the action scenes. The character in this movie is so ridiculously strong for no reason. I mean, that's a very obvious feminist thing. And then she's like destroying massive ships, which no character should be this ridiculously powerful. But yeah, she is in this movie. And that's irritating. I didn't like that. Sure, you can make those arguments. I get why people wouldn't like that. But besides that, those stuff in it, which are very massive problems, I would say, this movie is just a bland, boring, uninteresting Marvel movie with terrible pacing, terrible effects for the most part, and some pretty terrible performances. But it's not terrible enough to make it interesting, good, or anything. Besides nothing. And just putting this in between Endgame, hyping this character up like she's going to be a big deal to that movie when she isn't, is just the dumbest thing I've ever heard.